Hello and welcome to the Gary Dunn Show for November 4th, 2024. I'm your host, Gary Smith, and you can't chant along with me or say the lines this week because this is a different week. Coach and I have no game to discuss. It was an off week for the Vulcans, so this is going to be kind of a shorter show, an update, and promote the Edinboro game. But, Coach, we were talking a little bit before we sat down. This is so weird this late in the year to have a bye week. Everybody out there wants to know, what does a coach do on a bye week this late in the season?
Yeah, well, we worked all week. I was able to give the guys Friday and Saturday off. I came in Friday and worked, and then Saturday took the day off and watched college football all day. Did a couple chores around the house that I've been neglecting for a while, but for most part it was watch college football and just enjoy some off time. That's really our first day off since August 6th. So just kind of watched college football and was a college football fan all weekend.
And I don't think people really appreciate just the amount of, like you said, August 6th. That's not like, 5 days a week, a couple of days off. Yeah. You're going, 16, 17 hours a day. Even if you're not there, your mind's spinning.
Sure.
That's a long period of time. So it's, like I said, this bye, even though I know you said last week you'd rather be playing a game, but that had to feel good a little bit just to get a little bit of a mental and physical break.
It did, and I think it's going to be good for our guys. The coaching staff came in yesterday morning and prepared like we always do for every game. We usually get in the office Sunday morning, and I try and get those guys out Sunday afternoon, so at least they can have dinner with their family one day a week. So it was a good time to get some rest. I would have preferred we played, but it was a good time, and I'm sure our guys needed the rest. College football is a grind, and these guys not only do they practice every day, but they lift twice a week. They got class, they got treatments, all the things that go into a college football season. It was good to take a quick break.
And I'm sure any coach's show you'll see in the country this time of year, the coach will say, or somebody say, everybody's beat up. So it had to be nice just to, no one's ever going to get back to 100%, but it's probably nice just to give those guys a little bit of rest.
Now it's going to be interesting how we respond today after a little bit of a layoff and a little bit of a break. It can go two ways. We can come out and still be on break, or we can come out and get back to work. I sent the team a text message this morning. Hope you enjoyed your time off. This is what time we're meeting today. This is what time we're practicing. Let's get back to work. So hopefully, and our guys will come back ready to go. And we got a double time it today, and we're going to have probably a different Monday practice than we usually have. We're going to do some live competition stuff, good on good, to kind of knock the rust off us. But it's time to get back to work.
And usually at this point in the show, we look back at the highlights. There were no highlights this week unless you want to see Coach watch some football or see me have a 3-putt on a couple greens on Saturday. But let's take a look at what happened in the rest of the PSAC. There was a full slate of games other than California having a bye. On Halloween night, Clarion and Slippery Rock played. Slippery Rock won't beat Clarion 38-22. And then you turn over to the Saturday slate of games. Edinboro over Seton Hill 24-22. Westchester over Lock Haven 27-16. IUP over Gannon 35-7. In a game that went to double overtime, Bloomsburg beat Shepherd 27-21. Kutztown over Millersville 49-17. And then East Stroudsburg beat Shippensburg 45-0. And as we turn over to the PSAC standings, you can see that, in terms of divisional winners, California and Kutztown will play for the PSAC championship game in a couple weeks. We will talk about that in a couple weeks. And then one last thing, the regional rankings have started to come out. And I know, Coach, we're not even going to discuss them, but there's 10 teams on there. And luckily, California's in a good position.
Yeah, we've put ourselves in a good position to play meaningful football in November, which is always the goal around here. We've been very fortunate, so we got to continue to play well. This is a huge game for us. I know we'll probably talk a little bit about Edinboro. They are a really, really good football team. And once we talk about them, we can get into some of the specifics. But they're a good football team, so we got to come ready to play.
Yeah, and if you look at the standings and the schedule and the record and everything, their schedule is misleading. They've played everybody tough. So let's break them down position by position or squad by squad. Offensively, what do they do?
Yeah, well, first, just overall team-wise, they've lost 4 one-score games, and they've had a lead in a couple of those and weren't able to hold on to the lead. So, you flip that and they win those games, they're sitting here at 7-2 and probably coming here for a share or a chance to win the West. They beat a good Robert Morris team, who's an FCS team that's undefeated in their conference and probably playing for their conference championship this weekend. So, Edinboro is a really, really good football team. Offensively, they put a lot of pressure on you, do a lot of things. They play a couple quarterbacks, and both of them can run. They have a wildcat quarterback. He was a young man that played quarterback a few years ago against us, and they moved him to more of an H-back position, but they'll also put him back. They just put a lot of stress on you. They've got good skill kids. They're a balanced offense. They're going to take their shots. They're going to have plays designed to take shots down the field, and they've got a good group of running backs. Every week it's a different kid carrying the ball for them. So they just put a lot of pressure on you defensively to defend everything. They'll throw the ball, they'll run the ball, they'll quarterback run. So you've got to play assignment football, and I think towards the tail end of the season, the last few weeks, we've run and tackled better, and that'll be a huge key. Don't give up the splash plays and run and tackle.
And we've talked about that the last couple of weeks. That's one of the hallmarks of your team this year, and also your teams since you've been here at Cal, that they're going to finish the play no matter what, play to the whistle. And now flipping to the other side of the ball defensively, I remember last year when we went up there, it seemed like their defense, much like you, was flying to the ball and just getting after it.
They play extremely hard. You can't tell whether the score's 0-0 or they're up 40 or they're down 40. I mean, they're going to play hard on every play. They're very multiple on defense. They'll run an odd front. They'll stem to an even front. They'll walk backers up. They'll safety blitz. You can tell their head coach has his hands in everything, and he puts a lot of pressure on opposing teams in what they do. They'll play a ton of coverage. They'll play cover one. They'll play cover two. They'll have a 3 safety package where they're rolling a safety one way or the other. So it's their whole program, and they do a really good job. Is this designed to put stress on you? We've got to take care of ourselves. We got to be worried about California. We got to worry about doing our fundamentals, our techniques, being sound in our schemes, because when you have a defense that does a lot of things, you can chase ghosts. You can worry about this and then we got to worry about ourselves and make sure that our blocking schemes are sound and make sure that our reads for our quarterback are sound. So, it's going to be a tough weekend, and they're probably the premier special team in the league. Their head coach runs their special teams. They fake punts all the time. They block punts. They've got good return units. Their punter was an All-American last year, so he does a good job of flipping the field. So, special teams are going to be a big part of this, and they do it as well as anybody.
Well, especially this time of year, if you look at the schedule, this is, as we've said all along, every game in the PSAC is a rivalry game. Most of the teams have been playing for almost 100 years. It just feels right to see Edinboro Cal end of October, November, because Edinboro's probably going to have snow this week, and probably have snow until. But it just seems like a classic late season game. And you mentioned the special teams. We saw a couple weeks ago against IEP how important special teams were. The weather's getting bad. The wind's going to be an issue. So that a lot of fans might say, "Oh, who cares about special teams?" But special teams win games.
Yeah, no, it's huge. And they had a blocked punt this weekend against Seton Hill. I don't know if you call it a blocked punt. Seton Hill was kind of trying to fake it, but the time before that they showed a fake and then punted it, and so but they're gonna put pressure on you in special teams. They're and the thing about it, and what we told our guys, is they got nothing to lose. I mean, they can come in here, fake a punt, they can come in here onside kick. A couple of years ago they came down and onside kicked us. It's they're gonna have every trick in the book, and our guys just got to play detailed California football, and I think that's going to be the key.
Well, before we wrap this up, we're going to take a look at the schedule. In the final week of the divisional play in the regular season for the PSAC, obviously California, Edinboro at noon, and then other games at noon, Gannon and Clarion, Millersville, Bloomsburg, Kutztown, and Westchester, and then moving to the 1 o'clock slate of games, Shippensburg, Lock Haven, Seton Hill at Slippery Rock, and then the lone late game at 1:05, East Stroudsburg, Shepherd. But Coach, we've had a great home crowd this year.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a big game. It's also Senior Day, which we won't talk about because I know it's your favorite day of the year. There's a lot going on. But, for the fans, this is a great opportunity to come out. Weather's going to be pretty seasonally good this time of year. But tell how important it is to have that home fan.
We've, and I think our fans needed a break. This schedule has been so crazy where we played 5 of 6 on the road, then the rest of the games at home. I've never, in my 30 years of coaching college football, had anything like this. So I think our fans needed the bye week. They had been here for the big homecoming game, and then they were here for the Coal Bowl. So it was good for them to take a break. But now it's time to get back to work for them and get to Adamson Stadium. We have a fun team to watch. And I tell you, they do everything that we ask them, from the community service that we did in the spring to how they show up and work every day. It's a fun group to watch. We're going to honor a bunch of seniors that are great kids and a lot of program kids. So it's going to be a special day at Adamson Stadium, and this game means a lot. I mean, we got to pack that place, get the students out, and let's get ready to play great football.
And it's been an engaged crowd. It's not like, people are coming up, sitting on their phones. I mean, people are cheering. They're doing the right things. They know when to cheer, which is always good. And, you said with about the 4 or 5 home games in a row, when I came in last time, I saw a couple of the tailgaters looking to put permanent foundations on. Like, the schedule's going to flip next year.
I tell you, it's been crazy. And, our alumni especially, those guys don't live here in town, and to make a commitment to coming every weekend, and some of the guys that I played with that have been here every home game is I think just a testament to Vulcan football and what it means to people. But we need a big crowd this weekend. Edinboro is a really, really good football team that's going to come in here with nothing to lose, and this is a big game for us.
It's going to be a fun afternoon at Adamson Stadium. Remember, Senior Day activities before the game, but the main event starts at noon. If you can't be there, CUTV Sports has you covered on the PSAC Digital Network and also on our YouTube page live. And then, like I said, this is kind of a short show with not having a game this past week. But again, I don't think anybody wants to.
Is it short because we didn't have a game, or is it short because you have a tea time?
There's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of 50 out of 150. I mean, we could show highlights of us watching TV from Saturday, but
there you go.
A little out of column A, a little out of column B. But for Coach Dunn, I'm Gary Smith. We'll see you next week on The Gary Dunn Show.